One must have survived.
Ducita's bark was a level whisper, but the ice in her eyes gleamed colder than the powdered snow falling serenely overhead. 4 immense grey wolves stood before her on the Heremus Plains, the last great warriors of their pack, perhaps even their kind. They were exhausted. The battle had lasted well into the night, and the pack had lost many brothers and sisters. They were heading home to their tribe after what they thought would be their final assault on this district. But if their ears had not deceived them, their night was not over. A Belua had survived, and by the sounds of it, a big one, an angry one. Dux, the alpha male, assessed his troops sympathetically. Feror, their most vicious soldier, bore the brunt of the damage. His coat was matted thickly with blood, a dull maroon glowing in the snow. A large crooked gash streaked angrily from the back of his right ear to the side of his neck. To a civilian, he would look close to death, but Dux was a seasoned general. There was more blood behind Feror's eyes than what was spilled tonight. His wounds were not deep, and the loss of his ear was superficial. He was ready to fight again, perhaps even hungry to. He shifted his gaze to his second in command, Agisteri. The wise wolf showed no signs of damage. On first glance, it would seem there was no difference between the wolf that entered the battle fresh to the wolf that stood before them now. But the eyes never lie. The cost of avoiding injury is exhaustion, and Agisteri was spotless. Once a stubborn young Feror had claimed that soldiers without battle scars were cowards. Many years fighting alongside Agisteri had changed his opinion. No easy feat. However, the fact remained. Agisteri was the most fatigued of the 4. When it came to war, Dux assessed exhaustion as a severe battle wound. He turned his gaze towards his final soldier, his son, Pectus. If not for his smaller size and lighter coat, the young wolf was a spitting image of his father. He had fought alongside Dux as new warriors do, though 3 of the 4 young wolves had perished, where Pectus had survived. Whether or not Dux had taken an active interest in keeping his son alive over his other soldiers was a mental battle he would have if they survived the physical one looming before them. Pectus's young heart was beating eagerly, and though he was inexperienced, his health and alertness were great assets this late in the fight. The only wolf in better shape than Dux's 3 soldiers was Ducita, their guide. Ducita was not of their tribe. She was a brown wolf from the bordering Adcolian district. Sajax, Ducita's alpha, had ordered her to guide Dux's soldiers through the Adcolian wilderness in order to eliminate the Belua horde that had ravaged her tribe. She had led them to the Belua, but had kept a reasonable distance from the battle. Dux didn't blame her. There was a final wolf for Dux to assess, and that was Dux himself. The grey wolf's hulking figure towered over the other 4. From a distance, you would swear it was a young Belua, and many young wolves had run home thinking so. Up close, the picture was not much gentler. 3 jagged scars ran from the top of his great head to the tip of his snout, a part of his nose missing. His coat was the darkest shade of grey, and in the dark of night he was merely a shadow. If you did not look twice at Dux, you would think him a beast, a true freak of nature. But the eyes of a wolf do not lie. You would find no savageness there. Behind those windows was an endlessly vast ocean, beautifully tranquil and calm. Yet an immensely awesome power lay in its waters. Heaven help the fool who provoked the storm. Pectus, on me. We will approach the Belua from the front. Feror, you will run as far east as you can without losing our scent. Agisteri, you will do the same to the west. When you hear my signal, Feror will run like the hounds of hell are at his heels and flank our unwanted guest with all his might. Dux paused for the usual spirited response from Feror, but it did not come. He simply began moving east. A shadow of doubt crossed Dux's mind. Perhaps he had wrongly assessed his injuries. It was too late to replan. He would have to maintain faith. He continued. Agisteri, conserve your energy. Approach at a slower pace 300 paces behind us and assess our situation when you've caught up. You will have the element of surprise on your side. If its wounds are heavy and you can finish it, you must. If we have failed completely, you must outrun the beast back to Domusta and prepare who is able for battle. Agisteri gave him a curt nod before heading west. Dux turned to Ducita. This is where you leave us. You must go to Domusta and let my tribe know what has transpired. I am honored to have served alongside your warriors, Ducita replied, bowing low. Honor me by reaching Domusta in one piece, Dux said shortly. Ducita bounded off to the north, leaving Dux and Pectus alone. Dux moved closer to the young wolf. Father and son stood shoulder to shoulder, waiting in silence but with calm understanding. Two wolves silhouetted against the thickly blanketed snowy hills, enjoying the simple comfort that the snowflakes melting on their hot tongues could provide. A large tree branch snapped not too far in front of them, and the hot, hard stench of Belua filled their noses. On guard, son. Like and subscribe for more.